Patrick Cook here. So welcome to session 43 of Mastering Mandelbulb3D Formulas. We were taking a look at the parameters, a parameter set that we obtained from Mandelbulb Maniac's website, which is still here up on the screen. I'm going to take it down here and clean up a little bit. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's take this browser away. You got the URL. Go up there, take a look around. There's a lot of different parameters that you can get to, okay? We'll call that back up a little later on. All right, so we'll turn that browser off so we can see what we're doing. Now, we had already determined from the last session that we have two formulas here, which are both in the 3DA, the analytical category. So we're getting, so this particular Mandelbulb Scene is getting maximum benefit from the program internally determining the DE values. All right, let's continue to look around. Formula number 1, we see here that he's got an iteration count of 3. It looks like the R bailout has not been modified. So it looks like we don't know if he modified any properties. We don't know that yet. We could find out, but we don't know it just yet. All right, but we do know that iteration count of 3 has been set. On the second formula, we have an iteration count of 1, okay? Now, what's interesting is we have a transform formula here in position number 3 with an iteration count of 4. Now, what's interesting about this is that technically, the way that transform formulas work is that they transform the formula that is in the next formula slot assignment to the right. So I'm not really sure whether or not this transform is actually doing anything. One way to find out is to take it out. All right, so if I come down here and I do an iteration count of 0 and re-render this, technically we should not see a difference in the scene. All right, but I don't know. Let's find out. Remember now, help me remember that that was a 4 because I want to restore it. I want to put a 0 in there, and that effectively turns it off. Let's re-render this and see what happens. All right. All right, that transform is actually having an impact on the scene. These bands right here seem to not be coming back in when I re-render with this transform formula turned off. So what's very interesting is that this transform formula is somehow being included, but it's not actually transforming anything. All right. Let's see whether or not this particular transform formula would actually create anything, any type of object on the screen. We can do that by, we'll turn that back on. I'm going to put that back to 4. I'm going to come over here to formula 2. I'm going to effectively turn that off with 0 iteration count. All right, that was a 3. We're going to turn that off. I'm going to render. All right, and nothing's happening. So what's interesting is that with this formula and the second formula turned off, this transform formula does not create an object. But what's very interesting is that it is having an impact on the Mandelbulb scene, even though it is technically out of place. Well, let's go back here to Formula 1. Let's put that back to 3 and calculate it and see what happens. It is rendering this time. You see, this is how you learn. you look at other people's work and you use what knowledge you've got and you say, well, how does that work? Or that shouldn't work, or that defies the rules, all right? But this is how you learn. So this is the A-Box-VS wavy that is interacting with a transform formula, giving us something. Let's turn this transform formula off, render it. Okay, I'm getting something there. Now what's very interesting is that the scene is redrawing pretty much the same without the transform formula, which I took out, 0 iteration count. All right, it looks like that transform formula's got something to do with these ribbon-like down in here. All right. Okay, I'll tell you what. Okay, I think we've proven the point here that this transform formula is somehow involved with this scene. The transform formula doesn't appear to be technically correct. However, it's having an impact on your Mandelbulb scene, and sometimes it doesn't matter whether or not something is technically correct. You're looking for creative. All right, so let's put this transform back to, what was it originally, 4? Let's put this second formula back in, which was a 1, and this was a 3. Let's re-render this. So my point is that you can break the rules here, evidently, all right? I don't think that the Mandelbulb3D application was so hardcore designed where it wouldn't allow you to do anything that was outside of the bounds of basic rules. In this case, we have a transform formula that seems out of place, but it's working. So who are we to argue with that, right? We're trying to be creatives. All right. Okay, so this particular parameter set, all right, that we pulled down, here's what we know about it. It's operating in hybrid mode, alternative hybrid mode. We have 3 formulas. Both of them are 3DA. We have 1 transform. We're not quite certain why it works, but it does. And we see iteration counts down here. Now, once you get somebody else's work like this, I don't think it's a very good idea for you to take and republish this and call it your own. But there's nothing wrong with modifying it, all right? So let's try a little bit of modification. Let's go to Formula 1. That, as the parameter set was provided, was set at 3 iteration count. Let's put that to 1. All right, re-render that. Let's see what it looks like. All right, look at that. We can already see that's quite a difference. When I set that iteration count on the A-Box-VS wavy, the iteration count is basically saying, don't run the formula any more than 1 time. All right. They originally had it at 3 iterations of the formula. And so we're obviously going to get more written to the screen with 3 than 1. What if we were to put that at 10? 10 iterations of the A-Box-VS wavy. Now, I can already pretty much predict that there's a point when you set your iteration count, there's a point where it's just simply rewriting the pixels back on the screen over and over and over again. and you're just wasting CPU power and rendering time. So there's a point where you're not getting any further value by ramping up the formula iteration count. In this case, I have an iteration count of 10, and I have pretty much have destroyed the graphic. All right, let's put that back to 3. Now take a look at the graphic we have here. Kind of bland, smooth, all right? Basically, the formula ran so many times that it obliterated the pixels of the previous iterations. So I had 10. This is 10. I'm going to put that back down to 3. I'm going to re-render it, and now we can see the details are coming back in with that lower formula iteration count. And I think that that's a very important concept to remember. Your iteration count value, let me rephrase that, a higher iteration count value is not necessarily going to get you a better graphic. Let's end the scene here. I'll see you in the next session.